So the NBA just figured this whole thing out that they are finally admitting that they're going to go into their expansion run of Seattle and Vegas, just like the NHL. They will be the two new cities. When that will be, who knows? Should have been sooner than later. But then I thought about that and knowing that we're getting Seattle, we're going to get the Supersonics back in Vegas. We don't know what they're going to be. But what I do know is I did a couple videos a while back of many people who still think to this day that the city of Pittsburgh can still hold a candle and have an NBA team. And if they did, what would they look like? Interesting. There are concepts all over the interweb, and I was doing some NHL stuff and concepts for expansion. We know they're not going to happen, but God only knows when I am dead and gone. But if Pittsburgh got an NBA team, what would they look like? God forbid. Let's talk about it. And as always, if you enjoy any of the random stuff that we do on this loving channel of ours as we are growing closer to 1,000 subs, see this thing right here is the subscribe button. Hit that if you want to be alerted anytime that you see anything you want to talk about, anything NHL, whether it's any sports related. Anytime we do some dumb food reviews and all that stuff, we were doing some crazy on and off stuff. And now, as of right now, we were doing a little bit of stuff of some NHL concepts of what would happen if we went to this city, that city, and whatever. I'm going to take a little bit of a detour because, and I don't like doing NBA because I'm not an NBA guy, but me being a Pittsburgh fan, and the only real team I'm not a hard follower is the Steelers, but I will support them. But I'm a diehard Penguins fan, like the Pirates, crappy owner. Love the soccer team, even though I've never gone to a game. But the Riverhounds just won the USL title. Um, we always hope, and we always hope for new and fun things to do in Pittsburgh. But the one thing I keep hearing over, and I've still heard it to this day to many people, is to can the NBA survive in Pittsburgh? Can the city of Pittsburgh have an NBA team? Well, first off, I'm going to tell you right now the answer is no. But there are many ways that it can get around it. But I've done I run like two or three videos about what Pittsburgh should have in the city, and it's gone from everything from having the NBA to indoor soccer, and it's had indoor soccer, indoor lacrosse, roller hockey. It's had two women's football teams, and people in Pittsburgh still think they're New York, LA, DC, Seattle, Dallas, Chicago. They think they should have all. Philadelphia has all five, including MLS. Well, remember the old school stories. You have to go back to 1979. I have to go back and look at my research, but there was the fashion and the media frenzy of the fish that say Pittsburgh, and I have to go back and check all these things out. It was a movie back in 1979, and it starred Julius Erving, Stockard Channing of Greece. Remember Rizzo? And a handful of others. Let me see if I can. Well, there was a couple other of these photos. So the city of Pittsburgh has had its history of basketball, not a big one, but the Pittsburgh Pisces was the name of it in that movie. I had to go to the old school thing of Wikipedia to find it. So they do have their history as far as that. Now we were looking at these photos from the thing. It was the talk about like can the city actually have something? There was a storyline, fish fever, whatever, the Pittsburgh Pisces and whatnot. Now I'm going to start knocking these things down because I saw some concepts, and I'm going to try to fly through them as best as I possibly can. And everything can go as far as now. First off, we remember if you are a Pittsburgh historian, you know that the Pisces was in the movie. The Pittsburgh Pipers actually won an ABA title. The Condors were a name of the team, and they also were in the NBA in a team called the Ironmen, and they were dreadful, but they didn't last that long. So here is a couple. I'm just going through the browsing world of the interweb, and I found a bunch of concepts, logos, and whatnot, like the 1946 logo of the Pittsburgh Ironmen. I mean, I don't have much. I don't have much history about this, but they were a team in the NBA, was the Ironmen. Now, as far as that concerned, you have to remember. Let me just zoom in because we remember the Pittsburgh Condors. Now they weren't these colors. They were actually the multiple colored, like the red and the yellow and the gold and all that. And honestly enough, first off, I'm getting a T-shirt because that's kind of one of a goal that I have is getting actual Pittsburgh team stuff. Whether it was everything from the Condors, maybe the Pipers, to everything. I mean, I've gotten stuff from the Pittsburgh Stingers, the Spirits. I'm trying to get both lacrosse teams and even trying to see if I can find anything of the lingerie football team, the Pittsburgh Rebellion. And it only lasted 1 year. But the Condors were there. And this is actually kind of like my favorite, but this was another concept that I saw from the original Pittsburgh Pipers. This is somebody did this and wanted to make an NBA team and put it on Reddit. But that's what most of these people will do if they're not content creators, but if they're actual people that work with graphics, art, design, and everything, doing NHL jersey concepts and all that, and they will put stuff together. And just like NHL and MLB, you could put a team together, upload your stuff, and people do this, and they put jersey concepts just like Neil does at Post to Post on his channel. The Pipers were a team that actually have a title. It was an ABA title. Then they moved the team. This is actually not a bad logo, to be quite honest with you. And then I saw another thing that somebody did called the Pittsburgh Hammers. Not bad. Don't worry about the crap in the middle. I try to get rid of that. It won't work. This is not a bad logo either. Very, very simple. Two hammers on the side. And you're throwing into the steel brigade of the of the legendary history of the steel mills in the working facilities back in the strong old days of Steel City. Hammer's not a bad logo. It's not a bad name either. Now I want to just show this. Where was that? That was I'm going to keep this up a second, and that was the Iron Man. I'm going to keep those two up for a second. And now this was another thing. A somebody did a let me see if I can find I mean, this is the first thing I snapped on it. Somebody did some jersey designs, and I'm guessing this was a Pittsburgh Ironman, stuff like that. And the jersey looked like it was steel grates, like the steel grates in the Elimination Chamber back in the day, and the steel grated plates on the ground. Not bad looking. And even heck, it even's got the Heinz logo on it. I'll give them that one. Now, I will go through some real quick templates that I saw on this one. Here's one. Now I'm not gonna lie. These are not bad. I'm gonna see if I can zoom in. I can't really zoom much anymore than I can, but this is the Pittsburgh Phantoms. I don't see this working. The only reason I don't now the jerseys are sharp looking because you got the steel stars in it from the Steelers, and then you got the Pittsburgh. I mean, they're meshing the Pittsburgh Power logo from indoor arena football, and then the sides are actually sharp, and then you get a third jersey that has steel sitting on it. The jerseys right here are dope. I like these. I don't know if I go Phantoms because that's the roller hockey team that was there, and the roller hockey team was black, purple, and a little bit of orange, a little bit of Mahler's colors, old school. I'm not gonna lie. I would take this jersey concept and I would make it one of the others, the Iron Man or the Condors, but the Phantoms logo could be better. It's not bad, but a logo is not bad. Let's move on. I saw this originally, and this was the old Pitts. This is your original Condors logo, and then this was what somebody did with some updated Pittsburgh Condor logos. I'm not going to lie. These are actually gorgeous. If Pittsburgh would get a team in the next 10 years, I'd hold on to this concept. There's your Pittsburgh P. You got the ball with some condor wings on it. The word mark is actually dope, and he did one for the letter C. I'm down. I'm totally down for that. The Condors actually might be my best, might be my favorite logo. Where was that? I just saw. Oh yeah, there it is. Oh yeah. Let me just check that out real quick. Um, I don't know about using cons for the home for. Well, remember it's the NBA. Remember it's the NBA. They don't use home and road anymore. You can use what you want. You schedule and you can use what you want. You can wear dark jerseys and home, road, wherever, and then you got the City Connects, which are a complete mess because you never know what nights it is. They change the floor and everything. Pitt for the black jerseys. I don't like cons on the front. That really is sus. Did they do a third jersey? I don't think they did. Let me just check and do this. Here is another one. I showed this on a while back. Here's another look. There's another Pittsburgh looking P, and the the ball with the wing. If Pittsburgh gets a team in 10 years, use this. I keep condors. I like it. It's legendary. It legendary thing. Let's just do that. I know I'm looking at my time. I don't want to make this cut this real close. Um, here was there was another one right here. Let's take a look at here. This was another Pitt with another a real different looking third jersey or whatever like that. And then this right here was just some front concepts here with the eye for Ironman. This isn't bad either, but you're putting Pittsburgh over Ironman, and then you're just holding on to the eye. That might be a third jersey concept type of thing. This isn't bad either. And then I will try to drive through this. I want you to skim through this, and this is the stuff that you see for the Ironman. They're highlighting the eye, and there's your logo for the Ironman. And I'm not gonna lie, that is simple, easy. You're highlighting. I mean, you're not highlighting any P's. You're highlighting an I, and NBA is trying to go really, really simplistic, simple. That's why the Detroit Pistons went back to their old logo. This is simple as you can get. Let me see if I can get out of this because I don't want to make this video too long, but at the same time, we're doing all these different things. The jerseys, I'm not going to lie, are really, really nice. You got two nice ones here, primary home and road. Remember, there's no home and road anymore. You got a nice third jersey with the eye and a fourth jersey with some like I don't know what graphic design that is, but it's reminiscence of the U.S. Steel Tower. If Pittsburgh would name their team that, I'm down. And I'm not even an NBA guy, and these are actually filthy looking. These are actually beautiful. They don't really look like college. They don't look like college jerseys, but they're really, really sharp. I will give them that one. Now I will go to the one more thing for the Ironman. Now I just did the Ironman, but I don't think it would matter. Just skim through and look at these type of concept. Just more stuff with the eye. Simple stuff here of just logos and what they would look like. There's the Ironman right there, and here's a look at what the floor would look like in PPG Paints Arena. I mean, Forged and Steel. That's nice. You're putting the eye in there, and you're putting logos. I'm definitely thinking there's going to be more to this. That's a decent looking third jersey with the old school Steel City. That's throwing some paint, throwing some throwing some Steeler essence in there. I'm not going to lie, that's actually really, really cool. And that's just another one of that old, just basically in retrospect, they're highlighting the I for Ironman and they're not highlighting a P, which is different. I don't know which direction to go whether you want Ironman or Condors, because I mean, and this stuff is actually not half bad either. This would be my take, but people can do all these different things. I'm just flying by here. Those are probably the three best that I've seen. But guys, I'm going to want you to throw your opinions out there. I don't see the city of Pittsburgh getting NBA anytime soon, and if they do, it's going to be probably past my time. But I've seen so many concepts. You can do these on the NBA 2K video game, and it's just it's out of whack. I mean, I like pretty much the Condors are probably my favorite. Ironman, you just go back to the NBA and they're saluting their old team. I don't think they would go back to Pipers. I don't think so, not at this day and age. But there's so much. I just don't see the city of Pittsburgh getting the NBA, but you have so many ideas. And I've said this so many times. I'm going to shut the bar down real quick. I just see you're getting Seattle and Vegas, and you're going to get 32, and that's enough in the NBA. They're already cracking down that the G League is not working. So if you're going to do that, give them like their farm teams. But if you're thinking about going to 36, do it. I mean, the NHL should go to 36. But even if it went to 36, I don't see Pittsburgh being one of those cities because you can say You could say yes to five, six, seven, eight other cities before you even think of Pittsburgh. Even Mexico City would be considered before Pittsburgh. So, what is your take? I wouldn't even try to see if I can pin my old videos up from Pittsburgh being in the NBA, and you take it from here. What do you think Pittsburgh should be? When do you think Pittsburgh should come into the league? Do they even deserve it? Can they support it? The coast is on you. The bar is closed. I've given you some ideas, and I'm going to shut the bar down, and I'm going to let you guys think about it. Would Pittsburgh survive in the NBA? I will let that to you. Let's keep this going. And the bar is closed. I've said that enough times because I want to get out of here. And until then, I will see you bloody legends in the next one. I can't say what I like, but the Ironman, the court I like, I don't know, but I would probably pick the Condors. I think I would pick the Condors. But if it's going to sell and you think you can survive in this day and age in the NBA economy, let's see it. It's something I have to see it to believe it. And if they show up, take my money.